Carnation Love, Chapter 12, A Royal Dilemma. The banishment of Leo from the palace had thrown the kingdom of Viridian into a state of turmoil. Princess Ilara, heartbroken by the events that had transpired, couldn't help but feel that something was amiss. Her duty to the kingdom and her father's wishes weighed heavily on her heart. The king had begun to express his desire for Ilara to marry Prince Alistair, her childhood friend who had returned after years of training to be a fighter. While a marriage to Alistair was seen as a strategic alliance for the kingdom, Ilara knew her heart belonged to Leo. She understood that Leo, who was now living on the outskirts of the kingdom, would never involve himself in deceitful schemes like Isabella. As the pressure from her father and the court increased, Princess Ilara found herself in a difficult and heart-wrenching dilemma. She couldn't bear the thought of marrying someone she didn't love, and she longed for the life she had envisioned with Leo. In secret, Ilara continued to meet Leo, despite the risks. Their meetings were filled with the deep connection and love they shared, but they were overshadowed by the challenges of their forbidden love. Leo, always the selfless and honorable man, couldn't bear to see Ilara torn between her heart and her duty. Their love remained a secret, but it had become a source of solace and strength for both of them. Princess Ilara was determined to find a way to be with the man she loved, even if it meant going against the wishes of her father and the council. As the kingdom grappled with the aftermath of Lady Isabella's actions and the tension surrounding the royal family, Princess Ilara's heart was filled with conflict. She knew that she had to make a choice between love and duty, and the weight of that decision was becoming unbearable. The kingdom of Viridian stood at a crossroads, and the choices made by Princess Ilara would shape the destiny of not only her own heart but the entire realm. Chapter 13, A Princess's Secret and a Father's Shame. Princess Ilara's secret meetings with Leo continued in the shadows, but they were not without risk. Her heart ached at the thought of being forced to marry Prince Alistair when her true love was Leo, who was living on the outskirts of the kingdom. The weight of her secret love was becoming almost unbearable. As rumors spread about the princess's frequent absences from the palace, courtiers began to take note of her unusual behavior. Concerned about the potential consequences of her actions, they decided to report her behavior to the king. Worried about the possible embarrassment and shame that such revelations might bring to the royal family, the king decided to launch an investigation into his daughter's activities. Princess Ilara was questioned about her absences, and though she tried to conceal her true motives, the truth began to surface. It was discovered that Princess Ilara had been secretly meeting with Leo, the beggar boy who had been banished from the palace. Her actions, even though motivated by love, were seen as a breach of royal decorum and a potential threat to the kingdom's stability. The king, heartbroken and deeply ashamed by his daughter's actions, believed that her secret love for Leo was a stain on the royal family's reputation. He saw no other option but to move forward with the marriage between Ilara and Prince Alistair, who would secure a strategic alliance for the kingdom. Princess Ilara's pleas and explanations fell on deaf ears. The council and courtiers supported the king's decision, emphasizing the importance of the alliance between the two kingdoms. With a heavy heart and a sense of powerlessness, Princess Ilara watched as her future was decided for her. The choice to marry Prince Alistair was now irreversible, and her secret love for Leo was to remain hidden, buried beneath the weight of duty and royal expectations. The kingdom of Viridian, which had once been on the verge of unity and prosperity, was now facing a different kind of turmoil. Princess Ilara's heart was torn between her love for Leo and the duty she felt to her kingdom and her father. As the preparations for the wedding of Princess Ilara and Prince Alistair began, the kingdom held its breath, hoping for a resolution that would bring about unity and peace. Chapter 14, A Desperate Escape. In the days leading up to the wedding between Princess Ilara and Prince Alistair, an air of tension hung over the palace. The kingdom of Viridian was on the verge of a strategic alliance, but the princess's heart was in turmoil. One fateful morning, As the palace was bustling with preparations for the impending wedding, the news broke like lightning. Princess Ilara's room was found empty, and she was nowhere to be found. A frantic search was launched throughout the palace, but there was no sign of the princess. It soon became apparent that Ilara had run away. She had chosen to escape the marriage she did not want, the responsibilities she could not bear, and the love she could not leave behind. News of the princess's disappearance spread quickly, sending shockwaves throughout the kingdom. The people were torn between concern for their beloved princess and the looming political alliance that was now in jeopardy. The king, racked with guilt and sorrow, blamed himself for forcing this unwanted marriage upon his daughter. He realized that he had pushed her to the brink and driven her to take such a desperate measure. Despite the urgency of the situation, the king ordered that no efforts be made to forcibly retrieve the princess. He hoped that Ilara would find her way, realize her own heart, and return when she was ready. But the wedding between Prince Alistair and Princess Ilara was now indefinitely postponed, and the kingdom found itself once more in a state of uncertainty. The fate of Viridian was now entwined with the choices and actions of a runaway princess and her journey of self-discovery.